the key thing is to see the kid like that. And he hasn't made it. He don't have shit. This kid's from Ecuador. He's got fucking a wife, 2 kids, and fucking living in Santa Ana. You know what I mean? Like, but you see, there's a spirit, the same spirit that I will always talk about. I see a spirit in this fucking kid. So I got to mend this relationship back with him and RDA because I love RDA and he's my main priority at that time. But I like this kid and let's see if we can do something with him. And from then on, we've been as close as coming. We've gotten as close. We have a similar relationship that I'd have with BJ or Michael or any of these guys. You know what I mean? Because it's really, there's a relationship of trust that has to be developed. And I got to know what I'm talking about fighting too. You know what I mean? You can't just be like, hey, and when it comes to, if you're going to do jiu-jitsu, I'm not going to show you how to get out of an arm bar. You know what I mean? Like, but that's not what I guess necessarily head coach is working a skill set in a game plan, but also, keeping this thing where it needs to be. But it basically started off with him reaching out to me and me just kind of ignoring it and not ignoring it. I don't have a place to. I at that time I didn't have a place to facilitate a 50.
That many people.
50. You got these big MMA gyms that have 50 people in there, and that's why I used to always use a term. It was my little maybe ego trip would say, hey, you throw enough shit against the wall, something's going to stick. So I see these big gyms, they got 50, 60, 70 UFC fighters in there. I would better at least see at least 10% of those motherfuckers better be world champions or at least fought for the world title. You know what I mean? And I'm sure it gets to that point, but you got 50, 60 guys and there's only one guy. If you have no champions in there, that's a problem. You know what I mean? But, you should at least have 1 or 2. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm sure most of them do. And I don't know all the – I just always kind of banked myself on that because I would take whatever 2 people I would have, and one of them ends up fighting for a world title.
Insane. How many world title fights have you been in?
UFC world titles?
Yeah.
Around 14 UFC world titles. 9 wins, 9 UFC wins.
Wow.
But obviously when you lose a title, when you lose them, you lose, But it's funny because my first UFC fight, I think it was 2006, 2007, right around there. And I've had at least a main event fight for every year since probably. But it's not like I've trained 20, 30, 40 UFC fighters, like any fighter that I've trained, that I've worked the corner of, I should say. That means if you're in the corner, you're intimate, you're involved, and I've worked the corner. There's maybe 3 or 4 UFC fighters that I've only worked their corner one time. It was a one-off. It was like a Keith Aaron fighting Brock Lesnar. He hired me to come out there for the month. We trained, we fought, we fell short, and I believe he retired, but, good. I would say 70% of the guys that I've trained more than 2 fights have fought for the world title. Maybe 80%. I don't know, but
wow. That's impressive. That's impressive. Do you still train a lot of boxers?
No boxers.
No boxers.
No boxers at all. No, I have. I mean, I did in jumping back real quick, and I don't want to go back into it, but with the BJ Penn situation, that's what kind of catapulted me into MMA. Like you say, I worked with Tito way back in the day. Before Tito did the show with Frank Shamrock, the Ultimate Fighter and stuff, I was working with him quite a bit there. I know he's always worked with Colin as well. And actually, we sparred with Rampage when I was working with him, and I want to say you were working. Who's the guy that tapes a hand and he'd wear the bucket?
I don't
you don't even say his
name.
name. I know you don't.
Exactly
Yeah. We went down and sparred with you, actually, down at Poetry. And that's the only time I ever really had a conversation with Rampage at the time. He was really nice to me. He said, he's like, fuck, Tito's actually looking better. You know what I mean? That's tough to say.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think I remember that was at the Ultimate
Yeah. Because
That's your response to a coach. Damn, you got this guy actually looking good.
Yeah, because what people don't understand though, when I first started training with Tito, was with Colin Oyama doing Muay Thai, and that was my first time learning how to strike, right? And Tito and Rico Rodriguez used to take turns kicking my ass.
What?
Yeah, that's how I got better.
That's how everybody gets better.
I thought in the beginning you were smashing both those dudes.
Well,
I thought you were beating them up.
Rampage was never known as it And I'm telling you from an outsider point of view, we don't know each other
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
But not as a gym beater, like a guy in the gym that just because there's world beaters in the gym all day long. There's guys in the gym we've never and will never hear about, and they've kicked everybody's ass in the gym, every world champion, everybody. But their lights, their fucking day under the lights is every day in the gym. You know what I mean? They just
really,
it's just true. I suck at the gym. Even when I was champion, you could see me in there training, and I just wasn't the gym guy.
He's a game day player is what we call him. He's a game day player. You know what I mean? He comes in and what you don't realize is he might never admit it, but he's calculating shit constantly at the same time. He knows what he's doing. He's got some con. You got some con to you. You know what I mean? Like you're like.
I'm not very competitive.
Yeah.
I'm not very competitive, and I like to think that I don't have like a huge ego like a lot of different fighters or martial artists. So when I'm in a gym, you know what I'm saying, for me it's training. Like sparring is my favorite part of training. And I'm there, I'm learning, I'm getting better and stuff like that. I don't see it as me versus my sparring partner, my training partner.
Got it.
So that's why I like to look at it.